Welcome back to Straight Talk. I'm Laurel Porter. Welcome once again to our guest, Portland's newest City Commissioner, Chloe Eudaly. It's great to have you here. We were talking about some of your Bureau assignments, and one of the other ones that Mayor Wheeler gave you was the Bureau of Development Services, which also deals with permitting. And under that permitting, you also deal with Airbnb and permitting the hosts and also doing some enforcement. And something's come up with Airbnb I wanted to ask you about. Last week, an Oregon City woman filed a lawsuit, part of a class action suit, suing Airbnb, alleging its facilities discriminate against Black users. She says the company's practice of allowing hosts to review a prospective guest's full name and photo can allow hosts to reject clients based on race or other protected characteristics. So I came across an editorial that the CEO of the Urban League, the Kenge Harmon Johnson, wrote recently, saying that Portland should make some changes because of that, she said. So I want to read you part of that quote and then get your reaction, Commissioner Eudaly. She says there are a number of suggestions that have been made on how to address this problem. We'd like to offer two. First, Portland should follow San Francisco's lead in compelling Airbnb to share its booking data, including the names, addresses, and record of guest stays at each property, which will support meaningful follow-up on any discrimination complaints. And second, she says the city should restrict Airbnb from allowing users to display an actual name or photo until after a reservation has been confirmed. Do you think that Portland should consider those changes when it comes to Airbnb?
I think those are both reasonable suggestions. I think there's no question that there's discrimination going on a number of these platforms, and it's an issue we need to take really seriously. I think Airbnb could look to what changes Nextdoor has made, which is not a short-term rental site, but is kind of a virtual neighborhood association, I guess. And Nextdoor became a platform for a lot of fear-mongering and a lot of biased commentary from neighbors, and they made some really interesting changes, and they've seen a lot of those posts, or they've seen the posts of that nature dramatically reduced.
Do you see perhaps something like what the Kenge Harmon Johnson is suggesting coming up in council at some point?
I'm certainly willing to hear it. I mean, I believe that it's almost time to review the codes and rules and regulations we put in place 2 or 3 years ago when they first rolled out in Portland, and that should definitely be part of the conversation.
Before you were elected, you had a bookstore, an independent bookstore called Reading Frenzy on Mississippi Avenue. You had it for 22 years. It was really your lifeblood, but city law won't allow office holders to maintain an outside business, so you had to close Reading Frenzy. How tough was that to do?
It was definitely challenging. I mean, the good news for me was I was definitely ready to personally move on from being a bookseller, but I had hoped I'd be able to hand it off or that it would be sustained in some form. I didn't actually know about that rule until the day after the election, so I had less than 2 months to get my affairs in order and try to figure out what to do with this. You know, my first baby, really. I was 24 years old when I opened the store. So I have mixed feelings about it. I'm a little resentful that our president is not held to the same standard as Portland City Council members. I still am not sure how I could have unfairly benefited my tiny bookshop, but I trust that these rules are there for a reason. And
I'm sure it was hard on your customers.
Yeah, the last day was a little painful. We had a big sale, and a lot of people turned out to just give me hugs and say thanks. So it's bittersweet. I really, I've been wanting to do something different and wanting to feel like I'm putting my time to its best use, and I'm serving the larger community, and it was increasingly tough to do that, or to have that feeling through my business. So,
what's your relationship been like with the other commissioners? Was it hard? Did you feel like it was going to be maybe hard to fit in when you were new and you were from the east side? You're the only renter. I mean, did you worry about how you're going to fit in? How's that been going?
Well, to be honest, I was a West Sider for many years before I moved to the East Side, so that was not of primary concern to me. They have all been really welcoming and supportive. I don't think I had a lot of preconceived notions about what it would be like, but because I am, well, you know, we have a nice array of backgrounds in council right now. I'm a small business owner. Commissioner Fritz was a mental health nurse. Commissioner Fish was an attorney. Commissioner Saltzman was an environmental engineer beforehand, and of course Mayor Wheeler has served in public office for many years and has a background in finance, I believe. So it's an interesting mix. It's not like, you know, I guess I was an unconventional candidate, but I really don't feel like an outsider. And I'm also pleasantly surprised, not surprised, but I feel like I am bringing a voice and a perspective that was lacking and needs to be heard, because I'm able to represent people that maybe weren't being understood or represented in the past, and that's it's nice to get to do that. Yeah.
By the way, I'm an East Sider too.
Oh, yeah.
But just quickly, we only have about 30 seconds, sure. But you are a mom of a 15-year-old in public school that has special needs, he has cerebral palsy. How's it been for you as a mom trying to juggle all this? Has it been tough?
That might be the second most challenging part after just the stress of our council sessions, is I don't get to spend as much time with my son as I'm used to. I think that will level out a little bit as I feel like I've gotten my bearings and I can take a little more time away from council.
Well, Commissioner, thank you for joining us, taking the time to be here on Straight Talk. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Straight Talk airs twice a week on KGW, Saturday at 4:30 p.m. and Sunday at 6:30 p.m. just after NBC Nightly News. Thank you once again to Commissioner Chloe Eudaly, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next week for Straight Talk.